To me, creativity is the process of gathering items, scraps, things that may have been of no use to others, and making something powerful, making something that is inspiring. And I've been really fascinated by the term creativity and using it to apply it to myself and my art as a writer and as an educator for decades now. Um, I think while teaching, I feel most creative when I'm teaching poetry. That unit, there's something about figurative language and imagery and sound device and poetic device and form that really uh, just bring me alive in the classroom. And I think it's just because it is when I feel the most free and the most creative. And it's also the time where I feel the lessons are the most creative that they are throughout the entire year. And this particular year, the school year before it ended abruptly, we were actually reading Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson. Brown Girl Dreaming is a novel in verse, and it's a memoir in verse, actually. So technically, it's not a novel in verse, it is a memoir. It's the story of her life. And so just a fantastic memoir. And I love the fact that she chose to write it in verse. And one of the first things I did before introducing it was I talked to my students about thinking about who they were, thinking about what made them up as people. And the culminating project was going to be for my students to actually create their own memoirs in verse in the form of a chapbook. So, of course, it would be a lot smaller. And later on, at the end of March, of course, we know what happened, so we didn't get to do it. But at the end of the March, they were going to go to our maker space. We have a maker space, which is like an art lab in our building, our school building, and they were going to create chapbooks and bind those books themselves and include artwork in it and include the poems that they had been writing over the course of the last, 6 weeks or 7 weeks or so of the quarter. So what I've done now is I've written a senryu. A senryu is, I call it like a cousin to the haiku. Same form. You have 5 syllables first line, 7 syllables second line, 5 syllables third line. And the difference between a senryu and a haiku is a senryu is not limited to the content of nature. So, whereas haiku is specifically, haiku are about nature, the stars, the breeze, the animals, the earth, and things that are living and moving in our ecosystems. That's what haiku are about. And the senryu actually handles a much wider, range of topics. So I've written a senryu about creativity, um, and hope you like it. So my Senryu is as follows. Creativity, an alchemy of ideas, brilliance built from ash. Creativity, an alchemy of ideas, brilliance built from ash. Creativity.